day-to-day Nigeria's Day. We're going to be talking with Dr. Umar Bindir, Office of the Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry, Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Development. It's great to have you with us on Weekend Deal.
It's a pleasure.
As always. Democracy Day today. It was first May 29th. Now it's June 12th.
Fantastic day for Nigerians. I congratulate every single Nigerian on this day. The day is a brand, is an image, and really a demonstration that democracy has come to stay in Nigeria since 1999. There's nothing else to say other than Nigerians should be congratulated. Nigerians should be recognized globally for withstanding all sort of hideous and heinous incentives, so to say, to sabotage democracy, and really hang in there, going through elections, choosing their leaders, following their leaders, some very critically telling the leaders you're doing well or you're not doing well. And today we're celebrating the day.
Interesting. When we listened with rapt attention to his speech today, he talked about Nigeria in the eye of the world. You know, we stand undoubtedly as the giant of Africa. So it's like we're a role model for smaller countries. They look up to us. So when we do it well, Africa celebrates, and then the world will give us the applause that has been hardly won. He also talked about remembering victims of terrorism, and he promised Nigerians that the government will be unrelenting in its commitment to bring to safety all those who are not yet home.
Yeah, I think all Nigerians should be very proud of our president. Since 2019, since 2015, this president has consistently remained on track to say that I am committed to ensuring that our country is secure. I will do everything with the last drop of my sweat and blood to ensure that insecurity is totally eradicated. Secondly, this president has maintained his focus on the fact that he will work very hard on the economy to make sure that we sustain our development and our internal strength economically. This president has also consistently demonstrated that he will deal with poverty as a very dangerous social issue. He has remained on track, and also the president said that he will not leave any stone unturned in fighting corruption. So you see, down to this his last Democracy Day speech, he's still talking about insecurity. Yes, we've dealt with things, but insecurity is like a snowball. You never know how big it will be or how quickly it will melt. You conquer one, another one pops out. You remember when he came in, it was the insurgency that was an issue, bombing things and explosions and killing people in markets and so on. That totally is eradicated. Now the insecurity has popped its head out of kidnapping and so on and so forth. You also remember that in the middle, it was herders, farmers that dominated the space of the media. All that is now cooling down. So he is telling Nigerians that, look, to be able to deal with this as a government, using the institutions to install safe environment for people, we have done very well. We have reformed the security system. We've provided them with tools of trade. We have ensured that they are trained and retrained. And we have achieved a lot when it comes to the direct confrontation between the security agents and insecurity. However, we've now gone down to the primitive community-based insecurity. People moving from one village to the other, stealing individuals, and so on and so forth. So these people are mixed with people. They speak the same language. They share the same culture.
Use the word stealing individuals.
Exactly.
Is that a new word for kidnapping?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's exactly what it's something that doesn't belong to you and you take it. So he is encouraging people to be strong enough to actually say, yes, in our community, we've seen a weird movement, we've seen weird behaviors, and you report it quickly. That synergy between communities and people and security system is now what the president is calling to be able to conquer this.
In fact, if we take a look at Leadership Trust, Leadership Sunday today, we have Governor Soludo saying that report strangers to police. Any strange faces you see may not be friendly faces. Let the security agencies know so they can address it. That's a good one. You know, when you see something, say something.
Exactly.
A lot has been happening in our political space. And the president also, in his speech today, applauded the high level of maturity, experience, and replicated in all the parties in the election of their candidates. As we speak, all the candidates for the president, all the presidential candidates have emerged in all the parties, and the Nigerians are watching and waiting, hopefully armed with their PVCs to vote their conscience. But let's talk about that.
Well, you see, the president again has remained consistent. All the four elements, from insecurity, corruption, conquering poverty, and ensuring that we have a secure system, depends on the leadership. And democracy is about a process for choosing leaders. And wonderfully, our own system has given an opportunity. This country is a very fantastically great country, divided, or sort of like the constituency spread very, very naturally and fairly. We have nearly 10,000, between 8 to 9,000 wards in this country. We do elections at that level. People choose their leaders as councillors. We have 774 local government areas in our country. People choose at that level. They choose their chairman and vice chairman. We have 36 states in this country. People choose their governors and deputy governors, and so on and so forth. We have 360 constituencies for the House of Reps. We have 109 constituencies for the Senate. And then we have the president and the vice president. All these are opportunities for Nigerians to behave themselves, to choose their leaders rightly, and then to ensure that everything they want is actually hanged on to this leadership. Now we have seen the elections, the primaries that they call them. But before the primaries, people forget that there were congresses within the parties where they choose the executive committees,
National Working Committee.
National Working Committee at the federal level. States, you have the committees. Local government, you have the committees. The wards, you have the committees. And these people come together. And in the APC, we've also seen a fantastic transformation. Traditionally, when you come to the primaries, the executive committees actually used to dominate the electoral process. And then that fizzled out. And then it came down to the delegates. At the ward level. These are people who are literally temporary electoral college.
So they wield the big state.
Oh yes, that is it. And I think again the president should be congratulated for not interfering into the party dynamics.
If we're going through the papers today, we saw some of the riders were talking about president kept mum and did not adorn any particular candidate, and some people have expressed disappointment in that.
Well, you see,
but you are saying that's a good way to do it.
I think so. I think the president has maintained his track record by saying that he is for nobody and he is for
everybody. So let the delegates do their work, and Nigerians with their PVCs will take it from there. I think
that is exactly what happened.
Okay, we'll continue our conversation. NTA Channel 10, very interesting, and those pictures, the visuals took us down memory lane to the 1990s when Nigerians came out en masse, irrespective of religion, irrespective of ethnic affiliation, irrespective of privilege, status. We came out, we rallied round, we voted our conscience, and we know what emerged. And today, we're platforming our democratic story, journey, struggle on June 12th. Dr. Bindir, let's take it from here.
Well, I think democracy is, first of all, we understand that is, and we agree, is a fantastic mode to actually breed our leadership and try our best to lead a good life. First, a lot of people just concentrate on the president. Sometimes they don't, as we speak now, they don't even know who the vice president is, but they're making conclusive things and so on and so, forgetting that they have local government chairmen very close to them that they have elected. I wished also, building up to the presidential statements on Democracy Day, we should actually have a rhythm where local government chairmen should say what they have done, and you move up, let members of the House of Rep and Senators say what they actually have, until you get the governors to say. Then ultimately, you get the president to make the speech. That means people at the grassroots will understand who is working, who is not working, who is contributing, and who is not. But democracy has given us that opportunity. Secondly, I think if you go through even the current system, you see one lady, I think it's in Adamawa State. She actually emerged as a gubernatorial candidate.
You think?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, I know. Okay.
Senator
Aisha Binani emerged, and all these sentiments that people actually are talking about. If you want to be sentimental about religion, Adamawa is special. If you want to talk about sentiments on tribe or where you come from and so on, Adamawa is special. But this lady broke all the lines. How? Because she was a member House of Rep, she is currently a senator, and she went down to the grassroots. As you drive the length and breadth of her constituency, you will see water tanks, you will see boreholes, you will see schools with Benani, you will see healthcare facilities. She worked very hard. When the voting during the primaries came up, people forgot about all those lines. Sentiments on religion, no. Sentiments on tribe, no. She's a Fulani girl, young girl, and very vibrant. Everybody followed her. She flattened all the other contestants. So Nigerians should learn from this. Work hard, deliver what you promise people that you will deliver, and democracy will flow.
What about the electorate?
Well, the electorate has to understand that, this drive that we keep seeing now, where people are encouraged or enhanced by resources, is actually an index of, to a certain extent, lack of positive reaction to take opportunities around you, to solve your poverty, to get self-employed and employ others. Most young people now are thinking of employment in the civil service. Why? When you see that a lot of people are looking for good food, it means the agricultural sector is the opportunity. When you see food cannot move from the north to the south, there's transportation.
That means the middlemen need to step in.
Exactly. So Nigerians need to understand that we need to work very hard to ensure that we're self-employed, we're economically stable and inclusive, so that these incentives that politicians normally give us once every 4 years will just gradually melt, and then better leaders will emerge. I'm not saying that there are no good leaders that have emerged now,
but from what we hear, it's not the common man who politicians have been touching, because time for voting hasn't come. It's not the common men and women who were privy to that. It's people above them.
Well, you see, the political system in democracy is a value chain thing. Before anybody emerges, the grassroots has to shake. When you are having the executive committee...
So they came from somewhere.
Exactly. So they came from the bottom. It is the bottom. So I urge and encourage the National Orientation Agency, systems like yours, to continuously educate Nigerians on politics. It's about choosing leaders who will look after you politically, economically, morally, and then technically. So this hammering has to continue, and we must evolve fantastic models to actually do this.
And with our PVCs, we have the power to vote our consciences. As always, it's great listening to you, Dr. Umar Bindir, Office of the Honorable Minister of Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Development. Happy Democracy Day.
Thank you very much.
Dayola, you've been